I thought I'd just shoot a quick video kind of explaining my rubric for picking cryptocurrencies. And I'll probably do some videos on, the actual cryptos that I have right now and why how they scored in my rubric. And the first one that I usually look at is governance. What is their governance policy? Bitcoin has the Satoshi Nakamoto consensus. Whatever the miners vote for with their hashing power is really the only way that you can have uncontentious hard forks. Because the longest chain always wins. So, there's the user activated soft fork or USAF or whatever it is. There's ways that could go down, but there's a lot more ways it can go poorly than it can go well if you don't have the miners on board. Dash has they have a proof of stake, proof of work model with a treasury and everything like that. So they have you have to have 1,000 Dash to run a masternode and a few other things, but I'll make another video on the details of that. But essentially, stakeholders are going to probably vote in the best interest in proving the value of their stake. So that's one way. And then you got Ethereum, which is kind of the benevolent dictator kind of thing, which there's value in that because it's a lot easier to have more visionary leadership. Like you can have a clear idea of where you're going, which does a lot when you're actually trying to create a product that is valuable to people, because I think that's one of the reasons Dash isn't as great of a currency is because, well, there's a bunch of people with a bunch of ideas going all different directions. So even though there's a lot of money in the treasury, it gets squandered because no one's going in the same direction. But I'll do a video on that later. And then like another one like Zcash or Monero, they do a hard fork. It's pre-programmed in every 6 months. So, well, that makes it a lot easier to make sure everyone upgrades their software. So you have this auto updating ability in there. And so those are just kind of some different flavors of governance. And Decred kind of has a similar thing with Dash, but I'll do another video on that. So governance is usually the first thing I look at. And then, actually the very first thing is I read the white paper, make sure it's at least technically sound. And then I think probably the second biggest thing after that is capabilities. What does the protocol actually enable? Dash has instant send, private send, which it's private send, but it's a mixing service. So there are less, it's a more technical differentiation from Zcash, where you have a lot higher guarantees of privacy, but yet the crypto is relatively new. So, there's different risks when they say, oh yeah, it's private, but there's always technical caveats there. But they have instant send, and their fees are lower, and they have the ability to scale up a lot easier than Bitcoin can, because they can reach consensus really quickly. I mean, it was 24 hours for them to upgrade from 1 megabyte blocks to 2 megabyte blocks, even though they didn't need to do it. But anyway, so yeah, that's a capability. But one other kind of, you have to look at meta capabilities. So, Dash is a superior currency, but what is a currency for? Transacting. Well, if no one accepts it, is it a better currency? Technically, yes. Actually, in practice, no. And like Zcash, yeah, you have the privacy features, all that. So you got to kind of look at, what are the possible values that can be, what are the possible things that can be built on top of this protocol? And, you have Ethereum, where you could practically build almost every other crypto on top of it, although now they're running into scaling issues. I think there's an attack going on right now that's making it hard to get your transactions confirmed in Ethereum. So yes, it has the capability of doing all these wonderful things, but if everyone uses it, maybe it doesn't. And that is the kind of thing with Bitcoin, it had the capability of doing very cheap transactions and have fast confirmation times, 3 years ago. Well, now it's $3 and, maybe you'll get your transaction in an hour if you're lucky. So, those capabilities can change over time based on their ability to scale or not. So you have your capabilities. And another one that is a very large determining factor is, the development. The protocols are the bottom level of the stack, and all the real value is built on apps that are above that in the stack. And without good developers, the lifetime potential value of a cryptocurrency is very much hampered. And I think Ethereum is going to have a tough time because if they can't scale, they'll be probably overrun by like Definity and some of these other cryptocurrencies because they have better scaling properties, yet all the developer talent can reuse the same exact things, like they're EVM compatible. So everything you build for Ethereum, well, you can move it over to Definity really easily. So there's those different things that, essentially those are the biggest things that I look at is developer community, governance, and capabilities. And between that and the actual technical soundness, that's pretty much how I determine what I buy or what I sell.